Welcome back, everyone, to my weekly Dragon Oracle card series. The Dragon card for this week, the week of September 21st, 2025, is the Golden Atlantean Dragon. So these Golden Atlantean Dragons, they help us to remember the wisdom of Golden Atlantis. They help us to awaken and bring back our knowledge, gifts, and talents. And they help us to reclaim our mastery. So the biggest impression coming through as I was pulling this card is that these dragons are coming through as an affirmation of all of the work that we have done up to this point to be able to actually be manifesting that knowledge, manifesting our gifts, manifesting our talents, and stepping into our mastery, stepping into our aligned truths, our aligned paths, and our aligned purposes. They are highlighting the messages that have come through from the past several cards. So wanting us to remember that what we seek is within us from the Omega Dragons. It is not something that is external. What we seek is what we've always been and what we always will be. The Black Dragons that have cocooned us in that protective energy while we grow our divine potential, while we're rooted and grounded in this ancient wisdom, this wisdom of Atlantis, as we grow our divine potential and manifest it in our world. We've had then the Fire and Water Dragons to help really accelerate that manifestation of our divine purpose and path and intention and wisdom, with the water being that nurturing element to water those seeds, and that fire being that acceleration, that activation element, that sun that also is needed to help nurture the growth of that divine potential. We are reaching that potential. We are at a stage in that potential now. So this is very exciting. And then we had Kuan Yin's beautiful pink dragons enveloping us in that transcendent love intention, so that we can let go of those cords and things that no longer serve us, to continue to do that. So the Golden Atlantean Dragons are saying, way to go, amazing, amazing work that we've done, because now they are visible to us. They have been waiting in the wings, waiting in the sidelines, and now we can actually see them, feel them, sense them, know them in our own ways, to call upon them for support as we have reached a new level in our ascension journeys. We have raised our vibrational frequency to a much higher state, and they are here being visible to us now as an affirmation and a congratulatory message of support. They want us to know that they are here for us now, as these others have been, and as these others can and will continue to be as we call upon them. So when I do bring through a message for the week, once the week is out, it doesn't mean that we can't or shouldn't or aren't encouraged to reach out for the support of those dragons that came through before at any time. They are here at any time for us to call upon. It just in the context of this series, Spirit guided me to move this through in a weekly process for you, but I do continue to feel the support of the dragons that have come through before. With Kuan Yin's dragons in particular, I'd be curious to know if anyone else had similar experiences or different experiences. But letting go of those cords, I did feel supported by that, but it did sometimes feel a little bit disconcerting. Letting go of some of those things that I associated with that kind of comfort zone for myself. So something that is a comfortable thing might not always be what's aligned or a truth for me. So that is what I was able to think about a little more intentionally last week with the support of Kuan Yin's Pink Dragons. It's a journey always, but the Golden Atlantean Dragons showing up now as that affirmation of that work. It's a worthy it's a worthy thing to consider, take a look at, work on, let go of, move through. So that's really, really exciting. So my name is Gia, and I am an intuitive psychic energy reader and healer. And I'd love to be able to offer a reading and healing session personalized just for you around the energy, supportive energy that these Golden Atlantean Dragons are coming through with. This personalized session could also be on any of the other dragons that have come through in this series thus far. And if you do reach out to me this week, I will offer a discount on that reading and healing session, and we can schedule it for any time at all whatsoever. So how do we do this? How do we recognize our gifts, our knowledge, our talents? How do we step into our mastery? We do it just as we are doing it. On our journeys, on our ascension path, as our vibrational frequency rises, which is happening, whether we are actually consciously aware of it or not. There are energetic changes that are happening with the planet, with the cosmos, with the solar system. I am not an astrologer, but one that I do like is Pam Gregory. So there are planetary, cosmic, energetic shifts and changes happening that are happening with the planet and with all beings on the planet, with all life on the planet, plants, animals, humans as souls having human experiences. We are also being impacted by these changes. And as we focus intention on our ascension, on our spiritual journeys, we help to sustain those higher vibrational frequencies. We help to make smoother, more efficient transitions. Sometimes it does feel a little bit rocky, but we can move through intentionally on our ascension path and journey. And this series is one way to help support that for us. So as we're doing that, we're letting go of the belief systems that it's not possible to carry with us or remember our wisdom, gifts, knowledge. We are able to have discernment as to what is an aligned truth for us and what isn't. And in that way, we are also able to recognize what feels true for our path and our purpose in life. We're able to step out of the nurtured definition of what our life is supposed to be, and we are able to step into what our aligned path and purpose and mission is in life. And that is our gift. That is our knowledge. Stepping into that allows us to reclaim that mastery and that wisdom that's always been there. So these are the main messages that have come through. So thinking about that, thinking about this upcoming week, where can we think about different aspects of our life, different things that we do in our lives that help to support that or don't support that. So that would be the challenge for us, is how do we tap into, how do we continue to develop and nurture those things that support this ascension journey, and how do we continue to let go of the things that don't. So again, in meditation, for me, it's a meditative practice. It is connecting with animals. It is remembering my connection to nature. And one of my recent projects is growing growing some grass in these dry sort of dirt patches of the lawn outside of my house, and it's been really rewarding to see my daily efforts with that, with the grass now growing in those bald dirt spots. So, you know, what is the career path that you happen to be on right now? Taking that leap of faith, and that leap of faith to question and confirm whether or not that is an aligned path for you. And if it is, how do you continue to develop that and expand upon that, so that you can continue to step into your wisdom, talents, knowledge, and mastery? If it's not quite in alignment with you, what could be the steps that you can take to have it be more in alignment? Are there things that you can put in place that can help that current career path be more in alignment with you? Or if it needs to pivot entirely to a different career path, what are the things that you can do to set that up for yourself to be successful, for you to pivot out of that into something different? So being creative, remembering the cheerleading squad that we have, and all these dragons that have come through, but this week in particular, these Golden Atlantean Dragons, reminding us that this wisdom has always been here, and they're so happy and so glad to support this next level of ascension for us, this next level of expansion. We've moved into another phase. And that is the message that's coming through with this as well. So the other part of this series, I still am being guided to look at symbols relative to the messages that come through each week. So remember, symbols are a technique in my healing practice that I learned, where you can take a look at, it's a way to kind of consolidate the energy that you want to take a look at, whether that's energy that we are going to be moving out of the energy field because it's no longer serving us, or whether it is an affirmative, a symbolic message letting us know we're on the right path. Things are aligned, they're looking good. Keep going in the way that you're going. Those are how symbols can be used. And I, in my healing practice, the technique that I learned from my teacher, Nancy Rebecca, with Intuitive Mind, we ground symbols to the center of the earth. We infuse symbols with healing energy, and we present time those symbols to remind the energy of that symbol that we are in the here and now, in the present moment. And in a meditative and intentional way, we work with symbols in this way. So I am going to pause the recording. I'm going to take a look at a symbol that wants to come through in relationship to the messages coming through from the Golden Atlantean Dragons, and then I'll come back and let you know what that symbol was and what the messages that came through with it were. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So the symbol that came through is a bouquet of cherry blossom branches, and the cherry blossom. I did kind of have to remind myself of the symbolism of that. So cherry blossoms can symbolize the transient nature of life and beauty, as well as renewal, hope, and new beginnings. So that really spoke to the affirmative nature of this symbol. Remember how the message from the Golden Atlantean Dragons carried through that acknowledgement of us having reached a new level of our ascension on our journeys here. So that definitely affirmed that. Being in that present moment to appreciate nature. In Japanese culture, the sakura, which is the Japanese term for the blossom of a cherry blossom tree, the term for the flower of the cherry blossom tree. And so, again, a reminder of life's fleeting nature and the importance of being present in the moment. Their arrival marks the end of winter and the beginning of spring. So again, that new beginning, that we've reached that new level of our ascension. And then Hanami, flower viewing, tradition of gathering to celebrate the blossoms, embodies a focus on present with families and friends, picnicking, eating, and drinking under the trees. So this, to me, speaks to the celebratory nature of the celebratory energy and nature that's coming through with these Golden Atlantean dragons. They have this energy of them that wants to celebrate where we've gotten to on our journeys, on our spiritual journeys. They're really happy and excited that we've reached this next stage. So there's that celebratory nature of, yes, we've done it, we're here, and now we can come forth and support you in this way. So the other part of this symbolic message is the branches were actually cut from the cherry blossom tree. So the message in this is, let's not stifle our natural state of being. So instead of it being something that we feel like we need to seek externally and bring to us, like, oh, I need to go get those flowers from that tree and bring it to me, go out and commune with that tree and be in that natural state of relationship to that tree, rather than cutting the branches off of that tree. There is of course, those times when we do want to utilize plants and nature in our healing and to nurture our human body as food and as a healing resource. So in those scenarios, in those cases, consider an expression in your own aligned way of gratitude for the existence of that plant, that flower, that leaf, to be sacrificed for your healing, for your well-being. Ask permission in your own way and listen for the answer of whether or not it is aligned for that particular branch or flower to be cut from its natural source. If I am in an environment where the plants have already been cut, the flowers have already been cut, and I am drawn to or attracted or wanting to bring them into my home, I tend to offer gratitude for the sacrifice that plant has made to be able to provide that beauty and in my home. So again, being in that present moment, the flower blossom doesn't stay bloomed forever. It is temporary. But the natural cycles of life will bring that back around again. And the timing of when these cherry blossoms show up in the world, in that springtime, in that new beginnings time, definitely speaks to what I was feeling coming through of this. We've reached this new level of ascension, and the Golden Atlantean Dragons are welcoming us with this celebratory energy. I'm very excited to be visible and able to support us now in this way. So those were the messages that came through. So again, because it was a cut bouquet of branches of these cherry blossoms, the reminder is not to stifle what is naturally true for us. So we are naturally, energetically a part of all things, right? Us without our human bodies, us simply as the energy of us has existed since the beginning of the beginning. So we are all part of that collective consciousness. So when we commune with nature in that way, we're communing with ourselves. Nature actually gets to see us as well, sense us, know us as a reflection of itself, as well as nature being that reflection for us. So remembering that that cyclical, that collective conscious aspect of how energy exists in that way, and not to cut that off, not to doubt that, not to discount that, not to, to trust our knowing, to trust our awarenesses, to trust our talents and our magic and majesty, knowledge, wisdom, and mastery, and not to stifle it, not to judge it, not to edit it so that it can be digested by our audience, our perceived audience, in a better way, to just really fully step into our majesty, really fully step into our wisdom, really fully step into our knowledge, gifts, talents, and pull upon that ancient wisdom that has been there within us, that we're continuing to nurture and grow. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. I'd love to read any comments that you have about what last week was like for you, what your impressions are from this message, and looking forward to seeing how this manifests for me this week. All right, until next time.